Welcome to the Urban Impact Show. I'm your host, Dewana Bradley.
And I'm Brittany Dudley.
And we are live at the studio. And I just want to say that this is really called The Studio. Yes. Every time I tell someone we're live at the studio, they're like, oh, you're live at the studio. I'm like no. Yeah, I'm like, no, it's not. It's really called The Studio. So we're here live in Windsor Heights. Shout out to Lauren Campbell for gifting the studio space for us to be here live every Sunday with the Urban Impact Show. You can rent this space if you'd like. If you're interested in renting the space, please call 515-996-0326. Again, that's 515-996-0326. Lauren does an amazing job. She's a photographer by trade. I know she did pictures for you.
My son's 3-year-old pictures, which was awesome. She's incredible. She knows how to connect with kids very well. She made it super easy, and she did Rob's son's pictures.
Yeah. Yep. So
hit her up.
Yep. Hit Lauren up if you're looking for a photographer or if you need a space. This space probably can fit about 50 people in it. So if you need it for any of your events, she's really great to work with. But we are grateful for Lauren and giving us the space for the studio. So how was Thanksgiving for you?
It was good. My son's birthday is on the 26th, so I feel like we've been doing birthday before Thanksgiving, starting Wednesday, and then Thanksgiving I cooked, and then we went around to just visit, you know, family. But it was good. It was relaxing. It was great.
How you cooked? What'd you cook?
So I made a small meal.
Okay.
But I made stuffing, dressing, and macaroni and cheese, ham, and meatloaf.
Okay. All right. No, we had a great Thanksgiving. My sister just got a house, so we all went over there and had Thanksgiving with her, and it worked well. We had
like potluck style?
It was, yeah. Everyone brought a little something. So my dad every year always puts out this, you know, you bring this, you bring that. Mine is mac and cheese and pumpkin pie. That's normally what I bring every year. So yeah, we had a great time just getting together. You know, the holidays were cool.
Yeah,
I always
the
like
weather was nice.
The weather was super nice. I'm like surprised. It always makes me nervous here in Iowa when we start this whole weather nice thing, because I always say a storm is coming. I don't know when it's gonna come, but the storm's coming, I'm sure of it. But I'm glad that it was nice for Thanksgiving. Yeah, awesome. I really enjoyed it. I also want to give out a shout out to people who we know at this time it's tough for them during the holidays. My kids are 2 of those individuals. They tragically lost their dad 8 years ago from the November 26th, 8 years ago. Lost him tragically, and it was right before Thanksgiving. I'll never forget having to, and actually I didn't share the news with them because it was too much for me to share, but having my dad share that news with them. And shout out to my daughter. I don't want to, you know, embarrass her, but she reminded me, you know, big time that like it doesn't matter how long you know it goes from losing somebody, that pain is still there, and it comes up probably more so during the holidays. So for those of you that are hurting during this time, you know, we want to encourage you with Urban Impact Show to find someone to talk to. Please find someone to talk to. We have mental health experts that we could connect you to if that is something that you're needing, but we don't want you to feel like you're alone during this time.
Especially the holidays.
Yeah, the holidays just seem to be hard. So I just want you all to know that we're thinking about those who are hurting during this time, and whatever we can do here at the Urban Impact Show to help, we want to be able to do that. Yeah, we want to do that. Well, we're going to switch over to Hot Topics. There have been a lot of things happening that have just been kind of crazy. So we're going to hit with Hot Topics. But before we hit with Hot Topics, we're going to take a really quick short break. We're going to come right back. We're going to talk about some things that have been in the news, and then we'll get to our guests for today. Thank you for joining us, the Urban Impact Show.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I am your host, Brittany Dudley. So, I mean, there's a lot of, I think, things that are going on in the news and the media now, but I think one of the biggest things that I think I would say our community is waiting to hear, just like step by step, is the story with Shanquella Robinson.
Yeah.
I think that this story is really sad because it takes me back to a place of thinking like your friends and what if you went on a trip with your friends and how people act, and it's just like, it blows my mind, the different stories that you're hearing from her friends.
Yeah.
And one of them was like her best friends. Like her mom had said that he had gone on family vacations with them. He comes over to the house. And so I know most of you have heard the story, but just quickly, Shanquella Robinson went on a birthday trip with, I think, 6 other individuals. She died within the first 24 hours of the trip.
Yeah.
And the first story that they were telling everybody was she died from alcohol poisoning. And they were sticking with the story. They flew like to America and told her mom the same story. And then when they brought the body back, I think 10 days later, they did their own autopsy.
Yeah.
And then they seen that her spinal cord was broken, her neck was broken, something else. I think she had like a really deep lacerations on her mouth, her face, her eye.
It was bad.
Her, and all these things. And then one of her friends got on live. One of the guys who I guess arrived like a day later got on live and told this story of him coming in, and she wasn't, she was alive, but she wasn't really communicating, and he was, like trying to help her and trying to do all these things. But this story didn't match the police report, the death certificate. Yeah. So it's like, do you think that they all just probably, when it happened, got together and was like, this is the story we're gonna tell everybody?
That's what it seems like. Now, I followed this off and on. I left it alone because when I read it the first time, it said it was just alcohol poisoning. So I said, okay, that's unfortunate, and just kind of left it at that. But then when I started connecting the dots again and realizing this was the same story that I had read and there was more to this story, I hate to be the one to say like what I think people did because I wasn't there and I don't know.
Right now to do that.
Yeah, so we're all making our assumptions on what we think happened, and it sounds like everyone probably got together and created this story and this narrative, and everyone's sticking to it. It seems to be in reports that everyone's story is matching up because they're saying the same story.
But it doesn't match the death certificate.
Exactly.
It doesn't match the autopsy that was done.
Right.
That's the difference. So I think maybe, do you think that they thought that they wouldn't get a second autopsy done?
Well, probably that, and thinking that because the crime happened in Mexico, kind of what happens in other places stays in other places. So maybe they thought that, and because the Mexican officials were also agreeing with what they were saying until they got word that this autopsy had been done here in the United States, and it's like, oh, so now there is an actual warrant out for the arrest of the best friend here, I think, in the United States.
So one of them already has got the warrant. I don't know if they picked her up yet.
Okay, I don't think so.
But then they're waiting. Okay, they're waiting to approve the other ones.
Okay.
And this sentence, because I like literally will go on YouTube every day and do like an update, listen to the update ones, and they said that this sentence carries mandatory 20 years. For the fact that they videoed it, the fact that they left her there, they left her body there, that like it's gonna mandatory 20 years, and mandatory 20 years, but it could go up to 50. It just depends on what happened. And they haven't released who got arrested, but from the video that we see, I'm pretty sure it was that girl who was fighting her first.
Right.
In the video.
Yeah, it's a really bad situation. I think, our hearts go out to the family. I mean, there's nothing worse than knowing, that you're sending your child off on vacation, knowing that they're gonna come back, thinking that they're just feeling a little sick, and then you get a call the next day that says, it's something completely and totally different. So at the end of the day, there's consequences for the things that we do. And, I'm sure as a family member, whatever amount of time anyone gets will never be enough because you're not going to be able to bring that person back. So 20 years, 50 years, whatever it is, a life is lost that doesn't have the opportunity for any kind of future. So it's really sad.
And I just kind of think too, it's like, what happened? Like to make it escalate to that point. I've had disagreements with friends before, but I never thought about like putting my hands on them, like being that upset, or as a friend watching that.
Yeah.
Like I could not watch my best friend get beat like that. I don't care who, if it's her sister, if it's our best, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, it's really sad. We've had a lot of sad events happen. Walmart, there was the shooting out in Virginia that happened and, took place in the break room. We had the football players who lost their lives in Virginia, due to shooting. And this is just crazy time. And so we don't want to spend too much time talking about all of these things. I know it can be depressing. It can be a lot to take in mentally. But we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about our favorite person we love to talk about on the Urban Impact Show. Kanye and Donald Trump. I think they're on we can put them both on the same table here. We're going to say Donald Trump, Kanye West. Let's talk about both of them. As you know, Donald Trump has announced that he is going at it again for another run for presidency. Let's talk about that.
I think both of them are laughable.
Yeah.
At this point, I think Kanye West is single-handedly, like, I don't know, is he purposely destroying his career? I don't understand what he's doing. And, who if he doesn't have, like, that person around him that's going to be like, look, you need to stop, or you need to, because I was looking on the news the other day, he's running for president, and he asked Donald, like, he had the nerve.
I've seen that.
To ask Donald Trump to be his vice president. Can you imagine? I wonder what he said. Has Donald Trump has he said anything about that?
Okay, so let me just tell you what I've heard, because I've been reading a lot about this. So it appears that, yes, he did ask him to be his running mate, but also he came down and had dinner with Donald Trump. And there's another gentleman, I can't think of his name, that has been labeled, I guess, a white supremacist. They all have dinner, and Donald Trump just says, oh, it was a real quick dinner. I basically told Kanye, or I'm sorry, Ye, that's what he goes by now, not to run. Like, that's what Donald Trump is saying, is he told him not to run for president.
I don't think you should either.
I know, right? I know. So he told him not to run. He said, let's just stop. He made it really clear that, he wasn't trying to be involved with anything with Ye or the guests that he brought. But one thing I have noticed about Donald Trump that I think is really funny is this time around, someone's coaching him. So if you go back and take a look at this big announcement that he made, you can tell obviously he's reading off of a teleprompter, but he's using words about, we're all inclusive here, and we're the United States, and we're going to do all of these things. So he's trying to talk presidential, even though he normally takes two steps back with some of his language.
We know who you are already, so it's like.
But he's trying. He is trying to really make it work this time, in spite of what, a lot of his Republican friends, they have saw the light and have told him, don't run for president. He's going to run for president. So let's talk about it. Does he have a chance?
Do you know what? How things have been going, and even I didn't think he had a chance when he won.
Right.
So at this point, I think that I think he can do, like, if he can convince enough people again, because whether we like it or not, a lot of people liked him.
Yeah.
A lot of people were diehard Trump fans. He saved America. He did this. He did that. So I really feel like he would have a chance. I don't want to go through this whole thing again, but I feel like you know what? I think he would.
Yeah, I don't want to go through the foolery of another 4 years of Donald Trump. I was so hot when I woke up that next morning just thinking that, it was not going to be him. And when I found out it was him, I'm like, what's going on with this world?
Do you realize I was thinking to myself, do you realize other countries are laughing at us? That this is our president?
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are, because we seem to just do things differently here.
Who would be the other Republican candidate?
I don't know. That's, I know there's been talks of DeSantis out of Florida, and I don't know if that's going to, going to be taking place or not.
Is that a mayor or governor?
He's the governor right now, so I don't know for sure if that's the direction that they'll go in. I'm pretty sure that they're going to put someone up against him. There's been talks about Mike Pence running for president as well. He's kind of put his name out there after his book came out. So it's going to be interesting to see where they fall. But one thing we can know is that they're going to be very careful, because one thing the Republican Party doesn't want to happen, which I've noticed in my observation of them, they don't want to seem divided. So they're going to figure this out behind closed doors. Either they're going to all back Trump once again, or they're going to go behind closed doors and bring somebody else to the table. So it's going to be interesting to see what these next few years bring. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Biden should run again?
No.
Okay.
I don't. But I mean,
tell me more. Tell me more about that. Tell me, you can't just say no and then go. Tell me a little bit why you think he shouldn't run.
I just feel like, I don't want to just go straight to his age,
right?
But for one, and I feel like there's someone behind coaching him too, a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like we just need somebody more. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I just think we need somebody else.
Yeah.
I think that he's not doing everything he said he was going to do. Everybody doesn't,
Right.
And so I think that a lot of people, I don't know if he'll have a lot of support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think that we need somebody else. We need somebody else stronger to be, to be as, I guess, like as good as like who as a candidate as him.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should be him.
Yeah, so like literally I've gone back and forth with this thing here, okay? Because there's this one thing with me is that I know, like, I'm careful about what I say about older people. You know, I've got a father who he's mature in age, and there's still a lot of life left in him. You know, there's a lot of things he wants to do. He just retired. But I also feel like, what's the happy medium here? You know, because age-wise, because here's the thing. Here in the United States, we're just used to older white men running our country. Besides, I mean, we have Barack Obama, we've had some other people in there. I don't know if that makes it.
Is that right?
I know. I don't know if that makes it right or wrong. I mean, I know that we just need a person that has fresh ideas.
We need a strong leader.
Yeah, we need someone who is just kind of inclusive of all. But I'm going to be careful to not bring up the age thing, because I think there's beauty in both, you know. But what I would like to see, no matter what, is that the person, no matter what their age is, that they're starting to bring the younger people along to get them ready for that. So I think what has happened is we have this gap between those who are in office right now and those who could be, but there's no I don't know the mentoring that's taking place to get those potential people to be in office. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2024. You know, if Biden, he's not announcing if he's going to run yet, but it'd be interesting to see if he comes up to the fold, if it's Kamala, if it's someone. Welcome, Rob. How are you? We're just having our little conversations about Donald Trump and everybody talking about running for president, and then
Who it should be.
And then one talking about Biden, if he should, you know, if he should step in there and run for office again.
Well,
I think it was.
I think Donald Trump should run for president.
Talk about it.
Because Donald Trump ignites something in people that don't like Donald Trump, the same way he ignites things in people that love Donald Trump. And 80 million people came out and voted for Joe Biden, the highest presidential vote in the history of this country. Because
They didn't like Trump.
Donald Trump was on the ballot.
So we'll see if those same people stick with it for the next election.
I don't know if it'll be that. I think it'll be a little bit tighter margins this go around, but I don't think Donald's gonna make it, though. To be honest.
And do you think Republicans are actually going to back him again, considering they've asked him to not?
They're gonna follow.
You think they'll follow him this time again?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's their daddy. They do what their daddy tell them to do, and they're gonna fall in line behind Daddy Trump, and they're gonna be right there, kissing his cheeks and doing what they do. And if they don't, it will be because they have a legal reason
Right.
not to.
True. With his,
Yeah, with
with the
what's going on.
pending,
Yeah.
everything going on.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
So
Well, we're going to end things on a light note before we take a break, because we've been talking a little bit about everything going on, hot topic. But one thing that I read this morning that I thought was a really neat article by Warren Buffett, they talked about, and they asked him the question, what is the key to success? And his answer was, if you can't look back over your life and find someone who has loved you, valued you, or appreciated you, you're not successful. It's not about the money that you have or, you know, what you bring, but it's a love. Love was his thing. So I'm just going to encourage everybody to love on each other, because his thing was that is the key to success in life. Not how much money he had, not what he's done over his lifetime, but that he can look back over his life and he had someone who loved him. So I'm going to
most
throw.
of y'all hair is laid to the line. I feel like
See, you bringing the love. Thank you, Rob. We'll take that.
Trey, man, we missing something, man. That's okay. KO's coming up next, and he falls in line with me. So I'm all.
Look, not always, okay? Let's just be clear,
I'm all
okay?
good. We right there on the hair, you know. We gonna be right, and on the beard too. His beard is just much better than mine. He's had decades to get his beard to.
Oh, Lord.
Shots fired.
Yeah, already. We don't even have a KO up here, and he's already started. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Urban Impact Show.
Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead on and press the share button because we have a special guest here in the studio with us. Let's welcome State Representative Akeyo Abdul Samad.
Yay.
Yes, sir.
Feel like I'm home with my family.
Yes.
He's
Me
like
too.
he's
Me
a family member of the Urban Impact
No,
Show.
for real. Always comes through to come and sup with us. Too bad we don't have any food. We don't have any fish or fruits or vegetables for you. Make sure you try to eat something. Out here, you do a lot. You forget to eat sometimes. So try to help you out.
That's the same
I was
excuse every
gonna
time.
say, I'm like, he still keep bringing them, trying to
Bring
just
the
keep.
same time. I bring my own basket next year.
In the green room, they usually have something for the guests. Some type of trail mix or something. It demands trail mix or something.
Let's be clear, I was in the gray room today.
That's true. That's true.
I was in the gray
Yes,
room.
yes, true. Yeah.
That is true. Well, first of all, sir, congratulations.
Yes,
On
congratulations.
re-election.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the re-election.
Thank you.
Definitely, I'm sure that came kind of bittersweet for you, though. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Now, what, is he trying to set me up?
I think I know. What is he trying? I don't know what he's setting me up for, but
only because
It is, yeah.
only because of what we saw take place.
Yeah, it is bittersweet. First of all, let me give honor to God. Secondly, let me thank you for allowing me to be on the show again. Every time I'm here, I'm honored. Y'all are doing an awesome job. It was, Rob, and it was bittersweet. We had, as they say, a red wave, and that's unfortunate that we have reduced politics, to colors, and to people and parties instead of reducing it to the people. We should be talking about what we can do for Iowa, not what we can do for personal parties. And we saw that in the ads. We saw that, when people were coming out, at different rallies and that type of thing, that it wasn't about the people. It was about the politics and individuals, parties, and personal agendas. And until people stand up, we got to get away from that.
yeah, I was gonna just start with, I had a person say to me, like, they woke up the next day, they see we've got this sea of red, taking place in Iowa, and they're just feeling like, so what am I supposed to do now? Like I don't feel like you tell me to go vote, I vote. I did my part. Now I'm dealing with, the sea of red that, you feel like they're going to do whatever it is that they want to do. So what do you say to a person who is just feeling like, I'm feeling hopeless right now at this point? So what do I have to offer, when it feels like I'm up against adversity right now?
Well, first of all, we have to change our language. When we woke up, we didn't see a sea of red. What we saw is that a belief that individuals had in saying this is the way Iowa should go. It also was a sea of misinformation, that we looked at, and just like turning over the ballot, most of us don't turn over the ballot because we don't know none of the judges. So if you want a referendum or you want a proposal or something that you want to sneak past, the American people or Iowans, all you got to do is put it on the back of the ballot, because we don't read it.
That's right.
And minute, you go down, and even me, I went down and saw some position on there. I didn't know who the people were. So we have to start having those classes now, informing people who the judges are. When we talk about, a proposition like one, what does strict scrutiny mean? What does the Constitution, how does that process take place?
Right.
We have to start doing that. And we need to do now. The problem is, what we see is individuals don't show up until the 12th hour, especially in those marginalized communities.
Right.
We can't wait till 2024 and start, running for office. We need to start running now. We need to start educating people now. And then people won't wake up and be able to be hoodwinked and bamboozled into a color.
Right.
But we are to be, focused on what's good for the people of Iowa.
Thank you.
I guess the biggest thing for me is like, from your perspective, what does this mean now for Iowans?
I mean, we're gonna have a hell of a way to go. Yeah, that's what it means. What it means, even locally and nationally, you know, what it means that, you know, President Biden, you know, is going to have time, you know, hard time codifying, you know, the Roe v. Wade. He's going to have time. He's going to have a hard time dealing with automatic weapons, getting them off the market. Here, we're going to be dealing with, you know, abortion issues, you know, and the rights of women. We're going to be dealing with a lot of civil rights issues. And we already know that the Supreme Court is now looking at, you know, the, what is that? The rights, you know, affirmative action. Yes. We know, looking at that. Now, if that's sent back to each state to be able to develop laws on that, you know, we could be in trouble.
And gay marriage too.
Yes, you know. And so we have to look at, you know, in Iowa, you know, this is the cost of not voting. This is the cost of saying, standing up, not because you're Republican and Democrat, what's right?
Right.
That's what we have to do. And, you know, I knocked on a lot of doors this last go around, and I had Republicans look at me and say, you know what, I'm voting for you. You know, he said, you act like you got some sense up there. You know, and one Republican said, you know, and the Republican said, this ain't me. You know, said, them nitwits, you know, they don't know what they're doing. I don't care what side, Republican or Democrat. Right. We need to start, I want to hear what you're going to do for me as an Iowan. Yeah. See, and that's what we have to do. It's going to be hard, you know, for us, and especially young people, because what can happen, you know, and I'm sure what can happen is that you have young people who are so dissatisfied, they'll start trying to formulate their own party. Now, you get individuals start formulating their own party, which they won't be able to codify within the next 2 years or so. So now you got young people separating themselves, you know, and disconnecting with any party. You know, then you have independents already out here. Then you have Republicans and Democrats out here. So you're looking at the one who tells the story the most and the best. You know, good, bad, or indifferent would be the one that would be elected into power. Because we won't have enough people to galvanize to vote one direction. You know, and that's sad. That's sad.
You know, I'm really looking at this situation like, how do we mediate this loss, right? Because I don't think it's fair to put on you, sir, that you answer the end-all, be-all question of how do we win. I think your ideas on how we would win will work, but I also believe that people are going to have to get behind it in order for us to get this thing done. I talked to a lot of people over this weekend, this holiday weekend, and they were they were sad. They were really sad. They were sad because they don't see a pathway forward. If you were to have a conversation or coffee with somebody, not as a savior to this state, but as just an individual who comes to you and says, "Okay, can we grab coffee?" I like to figure out what I can do next. How can I get involved? I know you do creative visions and stuff like that. And to me, that's how you run for office, in my opinion, is you get involved. These folks who was on the ballot who never did anything in our community winning office seats because they could afford to pay for some ads. I just thought that was crazy to me.
Yeah, and that's true. I think each party, but has to come back to the community and start dealing with constituency caucuses. You know, we have to bring people to the table and talk with them now. And the people have to be able to say, this is what we want. You know, we don't come with what we want. You know, we come with, it'd be nice to, have minimum wage raised. But to what? You know, what's the plan?
So we don't come with solutions.
No, what we do is we're so conditioned that, we try to solve, broken problems with broken solutions. And we have to now look at solutions that are not broke. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. And we've been doing it for decades, both parties. The same old thing. Donald Trump got in power because he touched the a part of a targeted population that was hurting, no one listened to. Right. And he opened the door for them. Same thing that Democrats did when, we talk about the civil rights movement, Dr. King and everything else. But what we don't understand is that it was a time that when Democrats were in power, they did not codify the civil rights. They had the power to do it. They should have made, right? They had everything. They could have codified then. So it's not about Republicans and Democrats. It's about the people now have to rise up and say, this is what we want you to do. If you're not going to do this, don't take us for granted. And then we have to look at what's really going on in our nation. We are moving to a hierarchy of the have and have-nots. That's where we're actually heading to right now. It's not even the black and white issue is used as a boogeyman effect on us at this point. It's moving to the have and have-nots. That's why you have Conway, Ye, him and all them. That's why you have individuals doing that now. Huh? Him too. So, we have, all of that, because, one, he has a right to have freedom of speech. Now, we're getting so caught up on Kanye, that we forget that, hey, let's talk about us.
That's true, yes.
And see, we got to look at the double standard of this country, and if we don't stand up, then, then we're the one that suffer. Because just about, I agree, the Holocaust cost was bad. The German and everything, you bring that up, but so was the slave trade. Yes. So was the slave movement. But if somebody stands up, give me a famous white person who would stand up. I don't know many, but you stand up. They say that.
Sandra Bullock.
Who?
Sandra Bullock.
I like her too. But anyway, if she stood up today and said, black people need to quit complaining and slavery wasn't that bad, nothing would happen to her. They wouldn't take no money away from her. They wouldn't take none of the sponsors away from her. No bank, that type of thing, because we have allowed individuals to be able to talk about our situation, minimizing it. We should be just raising as much stink as anybody else when they talk about that, because that's the problem, And I mean, we should raise stink if somebody tries to minimize the Holocaust. That was a bad deal, 6 million people, And then you look at the slave trade, you look at about 50, 70 million people, We got to start yelling, and saying, hey, we want to call for it. If Sandra Bullock says something, then we need to call for her to apologize openly. And quit minimizing, what we're doing. And then we need to understand, I heard y'all mention love or something earlier, if I can, Bob Marley says something that we need to really understand. Bob Marley says some people are so poor, all they got is money. See, we have to understand the emptiness that we as black people have. The emptiness that American people have right now. Not just black, we're empty. We are morally, we're spiritually bankrupt, emotionally. We're on a perpetual roller coaster, on steroids, and we don't know how to stop it because we're not taking that time. Urban Impact is doing something. Watch your viewers go up because you're educating people. We have to be able to support Urban Impact. We got to support Rob Johnson. He's getting ready to give people gasoline and have us standing in the cold again.
That's right.
So,
Cold too.
it'd be cold. Is that January?
That's January.
Yeah, it's January. See, if we had our thing, we'd make him change his birthday to July.
Right.
But the key is though, we have to recognize our issues. Rob said folk don't have gas. Everybody says, so we're getting gas. Now, instead of criticizing about the gas, give more money so we can pump more gas.
Right.
That's what we need to be able to do. you know, and don't criticize him for doing. Don't criticize, you know, the Urban Impact. So tune in, support, send in some money. Let's get the brothers new cameras, you know, that type of thing, because I want that one there. So, you know, we need to get new cameras and
Keo
stuff.
is actually a borderline photographer in his free time. He doesn't have a lot of it, but he definitely likes to take pictures. I saw him one time running around with his camera taking pictures. It was just random stuff. He was catching the beauty of the moments, right? And it's like you never take a moment. Him and Al Wumble have always been like, look, you gotta catch the moments.
Yeah.
Right? And now that Eli is one, I am learning the value of these pictures, right? Because, man, like, I want him to go back to being this little baby boy,
right,
you
that's
know?
right, that's
and I want him to go back to this. And he's like, nah, Daddy, we going forward, man. And I'm growing up. And now when I FaceTime him, he's holding the camera. Yeah.
He wants to hold it. He probably don't want his mom to hold it.
Yeah, no,
He wanna hold it.
he wants to hold it. He wants to engage, and he does this thing now where he'll take the phone from his mom. He'll just lay on the floor or whatever's around. He'll just lay down. He'll just sit there and just start talking, and I'm like, whatever you say, baby, you know, yeah. And so, KO, people pull on you a lot. For a lot of stuff, a lot of reasons, a lot of things going on. Can you tell us why you started Creative Visions?
I started Creative Visions for the same reason that we've been talking about all this time. You know, people were hurting. You know, people were shooting each other. You know, the gangs were more organized. They weren't cliques then. You know, and drug deals were going on. You know, and people were hungry. You know, and young people were getting involved. You know, my son was involved in the Black Gangster Disciples, and so my son brought a reality to me. You know, and his friends, and the key is he helped me establish a street cred that allowed me to talk to all of the Bloods, the Crips, you know, all of them. And those conversations would take place, and you really didn't hear no different coming from them other than the fact that, we use some illegal means to be able to finance what you're trying to do on the other side of the fence. Because we have people hungry. We have kids that go home and mom and dad ain't home, or they're working, or mom just there, so we help pay some bills. At the same time, at that time it was Jordans, I don't know what you buy now, but I can't afford none of them. What are they now?
Yeezys, Balenciagas, just a lot.
Them too. So, you get to buy them, but people, young people want the same thing. You go to school, I was watching the news, and that one little guy was going to class, and the kids were making fun of him because he didn't have the updated tennis shoes.
Yeah, and his classmate
helped him out. But we have focus in the materialistic world and saying this is what you develop your character on. See, we have to change the message. We have to change the language now. There's nothing wrong with these individuals making money now. Let me be clear. Nothing wrong with folk putting a brand out. That's living. But let's show how to get that. Let's not make that our value system though. Let's make that a reward. From her work.
I feel really sorry.
Go ahead.
I just thought about it. I feel really sorry for these kids now because social media makes them feel like they're less than, or they're not as confident because they're seeing, all these different brands, all these celebrities wearing all these brands. We didn't have social media back in the day. So we literally, Jordans was super popular, I think, when I was in school. But it wasn't like all these designer things. I didn't even really know what designer things were until I got to college, and I went to college on the other side of California, where you know, around Hollywood. But I feel sorry for these kids now because social media is what is exposing them to all these things, and where they feel like they need to, like they're less than if they don't have this, or they're not a part of this because they're seeing it on TikTok, they're seeing it on Instagram.
I just want to I made an observation. I really love your eyelashes, boy. I just look over there. She has some pretty eyelashes. But anyway,
Thank you.
you know, the key is that even back in the day, you know, we want to wear what the Temptations wore.
Yeah.
You know, we want to have what, you know, we saw.
What were the Temptations
Aretha.
wearing?
Oh, they had all kinds of outfits, suits and the shoes, and that's where you had the tight pants and everything else, you know. And we bought clothes, and we had pants so tight you couldn't breathe, you know.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah, and then we had bell bottoms, and then some cat in Paris came up with a platform shoe, and we were running around wearing the platform shoe, couldn't run if we wanted to from the police, you know. But you know, the key is that we've always been conditioned to focus on material things. Who had the biggest car, you know? I mean, I enjoy going to church to see what people were wearing. You know, because as I said, there was 2 nights that you really saw us get dressed up. Saturday night, going to the club, Sunday morning, going to church. You know, and so even when individuals, organizations started building up, they recognized that. So some organizations made individuals wear suits every day. Because that's when we felt like somebody. But they didn't make that the litmus test for whether or not your character was good. So we got to go back to character. Rob is teaching us something about character. You're teaching people about character. You're talking about character. But we got to start saying that. You know, we got to start. You know, we got to start saying it's your character. You know, that's what it's your word is your bond. And quit dealing with the clothes and everything else. You know, because we do it at the car. You know, they used to say, you know, and you don't know. When the minister or the imam or the minister, whoever bought a new car, boy, they get everybody hope. He get 2 new converts that day, you know, because they see the car. You know, they want the minister. I mean, it got so bad, you got, you know, ministers now that make all kinds of money. And you look where they're living, you look at what they're wearing, you look at the diamonds on their hand, you know, hey. And that's what people look at, because one day I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna support my minister. You know, Cliff Dollar, you know, are we supposed to mention his name? But anyway, he got
Right.
he got a plane.
To help him buy a plane.
Yeah. But the best, but the best one was Oral Roberts. I almost sent him some money.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Him and Jimmy Swaggart, I love them, boy. But Oral Roberts got on national television and said he talked to God. And God told him to go up to the vestibule on the top of his tower. And if they didn't send him so many millions of dollars by Monday, he gonna die. You know. And I sit there with my checkbook and I said, Tuesday I will send money. You know. I said, Tuesday you got my money. You know. But the point is they sent the money.
Yeah, they did.
See, now that means what? We get tied into personalities. That's why Malcolm and Martin and everybody means so much as we try, because we're better at living with dead heroes than with the live ones, you know. See, Rob is a hero to me. You're a hero, not heroine, but what do you call it, what female? Yeah, hero. No, hero. No, there's something else. Is it
She-Ra?
No, that's a dirty shame.
No, I mean, there's heroine, like Heroine,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
there's.
but y'all know it.
Yeah, I know what
But you're my people. Yeah.
Will correct us, we'll get it right. Yeah.
But y'all might, you know, I look up to y'all. You know, I respect what Martin and Malcolm and Sojourner Truth and everybody went through, but I gotta look at my live heroes now. I gotta look at people. That's why people can come and get on the ballot that ain't just got off a Greyhound bus, ain't did nothing in the community, you know, because of the fact they ain't did nothing, because we don't uplift those who are doing something.
Yeah, we don't.
You know, and I want to say, Rob, I want to pledge now. I want to go on record, because if I don't go on record, I'll forget. Yeah, I want to pledge $1,000 to your gas. You know, and I challenge anybody else. you know, to match that $1,000. I'm asking you to match that $1,000, you know. So I got until January to earn it, to get it to you. But I want to play, I want people to match my grant, you know, to you for your birthday, to pump the gas and that type of thing.
Yeah, you know, I was inspired. You know, you and I had this conversation about why we did the gas thing in the first place. You know, and it was so crazy because that day, explaining to you why I was doing the gas drive, you was buying somebody's gas. I don't even know if you remember that or not, but you was buying somebody's gas that same day. And you was like, okay. And I'll never forget when there was a couple people who was like, we're only gonna put like $20 to $25 in every tank. And I was like, no, that ain't, God said to fill the tanks up and he will do the rest. And you know what, when we started that day, because we had people pull back on us, you know, when we started that day, we didn't have as much as I was expecting, but we had the people, right? And by the end of it, we had what we were expecting because we followed what God had told us to do. I firmly believe that had we caved into the pressure of what it looked like, then God would have said, well, I can't do nothing with that. You know what I'm saying? You put me in a box, you know, and I can't do anything with that. But God took those 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread that we had and multiplied it to do what we could do at that gas drive. So our goal is $15,000 this year. Major announcements are coming on what we're going to be doing and who's going to be the sponsor, what gas station and everything. Major announcements are coming, but we're excited about it. Real quick, I know we're running out of time. Akea, will you talk about giving to Creative Visions, and then Dewana, will you talk about giving to Urban Experience in Iowa Juneteenth?
Yeah, what it is, Giving Tuesday is coming up, you know, and Creative Visions has been providing food, you know, as a safe haven, dealing with crime victims and others for now over 26 years. You know, we are asking you to consider us as one of your giving sources. You know, and it could be, if you got $1, we'll take it, it'll be $1 more than what we had. You know, we're not putting a limit on it, a minimum on it. Give what you can, you know. But the thing is, we're asking for that help on Giving Tuesday, you know, so that we can continue the work that we do. You know, we're there when it comes to shootings. We're there when it comes to people needing an attorney. We're there when it comes to people being hungry. We're there when people need clothes, you know, when children need hats and gloves, we're there, you know.
When we had no other place to house the turkeys for the turkey drive.
We're there for the turkey drive. We're there when people need a house for the turkey drive. And we also are there to help support other organizations, like the gas thing. I don't want to minimize that gas thing, and I want to push that, because if I can say this real quick, you know, the thing that touched me that day when we gave out gas, is that woman who we had to push with her children in the car to the pump because she used her last little bit to get there, and she ran out of gas far enough from the pump that we had to push her to the pump. And then her house had caught on fire, so they were housed somewhere else. And so we ended up giving them extra gas in a gas can. And the children, you know, to have a child look up, and understand this was a white family. I just want to be clear that gas went to Iowans. It went to anybody in need. Anybody in need. But that child looked up and had tears coming down her eyes and said, thank you. You know, I said, man, you know, you just want to do that. But that's what Giving Tuesday is about. You know, giving, letting your money work for you. You know, let it work in your community. You know, that's what it's about. So please, give to Creative Visions. You know, you can get on our website. You can donate on the website. And now I hit it to you before Rob tells me I got to be quiet. You know he likes telling me that. You know, he It gives,
Cutting you off and all
it makes him feel taller. Yeah.
Really, are you laughing?
I am.
This is support.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Oh no, Trey, you laughing too?
We all got a kick out of that one. That was good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead on and go to the.
All right. Well, as it is Giving Tuesday, Des Moines Urban Experience, many people don't know, is the nonprofit that we do all of our great work on.
Yes.
And we are starting with kicking things off in January with the gas giveaway. So we will be the nonprofit behind all of that. Rob is like my brother, so we support, the things.
like.
No, he is my brother. Let me just correct that.
you stuck
We've told each other we're not going anywhere, so we are.
You get mad.
Yeah,
KO too.
yeah, you're the one that I can talk to. Like, we can just get it worked out, and then we're ready to go. So that is the relationship that we have, and being that I have.
That's happened, so we still good friends right now.
But that's how it should be. But we should be able to do that with each other. If we got to, that's the way it goes. And then we come back the next day and we're fine. That's what a true bond is like. We should be able to do that. So I created the nonprofit. Actually, my dad did about 2015. And we weren't even going to use it as a nonprofit, but he was insistent on keeping it. And we kept it because it's been able to help other people who maybe has needed to use a nonprofit to do some of the stuff that they wanted to do. So we are going to elevate the work that we're going to do next year. My family and my friends are very passionate about making an impact on the community, but more so serving the community. So that's what the Des Moines Urban Experience is going to do in 2023. But we can't do it without your help. So we are asking you to give on Giving Tuesday. We'll have links. We also are responsible for putting forth Iowa Juneteenth festivities. We are going to start those festivities pre-event starting in February. So we're going to start with Black History Month, and we're just going to work our way up until June. And then in the fall, we're going to come back and fall in line with the giving away of turkeys and being a part of that. So we want to start really being about what we're doing. So that money that's coming in is coming in to go right back into the community. We've always been community servants, and that's what we're going to continue to be. So we're asking you to give to the Des Moines Urban Experience on Giving Tuesday. We will take your pennies. They add up to dollars and everything else, and we'll take your dollars as well. You can go to iowajuneteenth.org to give to Iowa Juneteenth, and then we also will have some links on the Urban Impact Show's page where you can go to and click those links to give directly to the gas giveaway that we're having in January and any other events that we'll be doing in 2023.
Anything? Before we, 5:57.
Oh, I do have another announcement. I thought about this, have nothing to do with Giving Tuesday, but Ruby B's Kitchen and Catering, my family's business, we are back in business again. We had to take a little break. We now have a home. We will be at the Cash Savers on Fleur Drive. Inside the Cash Savers, I'm almost safe to say that I don't know of any Black-owned restaurant that has been inside of a grocery store. I'm still looking on that, so I don't want y'all to start saying that that's the case. But we will be open Tuesday through Sunday, and we are opening back up next Sunday, December 4th, 2 to 6 p.m., and you can come inside and eat. So we're super excited for that. You don't have to just take your food and leave, but I just want to invite you all to come meet my family where true customer service happens. You will be like our family when you walk in the place, and so we're excited for that. Awesome. On next Sunday, come to Cash Savers, come to Ruby B's, get your food after church, come hang out with us, but we're very excited to get things going. So
that's awesome. A lot of people say we don't have a true soul food type of place to go after church since there's no more buffets or whatever. So that's
we got
awesome.
two places though. We got Ruby B's and we got Joppa's, because Joppa's is open on Sundays too at Merrill Hay Mall. So you've got two places to go on a Sunday. You can also dine in at Joppa's too on a Sunday after church. So we've got two places for you to go to get your food on Sunday and throughout the week too. We're both open Tuesday through Sunday. So, I think the one thing that you said, Akeo, that we need to be more mindful of is supporting our businesses, supporting our businesses, our
Small
nonprofits,
businesses.
our small ones, large organizations, because we're all, there's enough for all of us. I always tell people that we are not competing against each other. There's enough for everyone in this space to be successful. You just have to go out and to support the work that people are doing. Instead of talking about them, I'm encouraging you to support them. And if you have an idea to help them be better, give them those ideas. We're always open to that. We want to do things because we're doing it for you, the community.
We need some corn on the cob.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can
somebody
work. I can
gotta
figure
bring
that out.
corn.
Okay, I got you.
Somebody get some corn on the cob.
All right, I got you.
I like corn on the cob.
Sorry.
I don't know how you, and some cornbread.
Okay.
Do some cornbread, and you already do sweet potatoes.
Yeah, we already do
Yeah,
that
okay, some sweet potatoes without the marshmallows.
without the
Yeah, we
marshmallows.
need some without the marshmallows.
Okay.
But we definitely need some corn on the cob.
Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that next Sunday we have some corn on the cob. I'm just putting in that request right now. So I'll make
I'm
sure
coming.
Okay,
I'm coming
we're gonna
to
have
get some
corn on the cob for you next Sunday.
Because if we don't have corn on the cob, I'm gonna take some money away from the gas.
Okay.
Which you should.
Right.
Which you should.
We will have corn on the cob, I guarantee.
I know we're out of time, everybody, so thank you so much for tuning in to watching the Urban Impact Show. You've heard some amazing things happen. Please feel free to go ahead on and donate to Creative Visions let's say you have $100 and you want to split this $100. Please feel free to divide that $100 up amongst these organizations, and you'll see a lot more on the Urban Impact Show page coming up as we get ready for this. Thank you all so much for watching. We are here for you all. Our job is to make sure we're giving you right, accurate, and I would say up-to-date information. Thank you so much for watching. You are truly, truly appreciated. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a great
Take
week.
care.